Oh, I suppose it's that time again. The James Whale Radio Show is about to hit the airwaves of the entire planet. Whale worldwide. I thought about calling that. I don't know. I'm a little tired. You must forgive me today because last night I was at the Curry Awards, Britain's Curry Awards. You may have seen some of my tweets about it. And I'll tell you some of my thoughts about the Curry Awards, which had a special guest appearance of David Cameron. I tell you, I have never been to anything where there have been so many politicians trying to make so many political points, but it was quite funny, quite entertaining. So I think what we do now is cue the titles and start the show.
James Whale, the voice of reason on the James Whale Radio Show.
So, welcome to the James Whale Radio Show. Of course, you can hear us here all the time. Just tune in. I want to say hi to our friends at talentgb.com and Audio Boo, and Trent Sound, Just Radio, Coast Radio, RFTK Radio, My Pick TV, and this is the one I really like, Sherbet Radio. Now, Sherbet Radio is the radio station of the London taxi drivers. So, hi, guys. Hello to all the London taxi drivers out there. Robbo, who, of course, is our producer, knows the answer to why it's called Sherbet Radio. Why is it called Sherbet Radio?
Do you remember the sweet Sherbet Dib Dab?
Sherbet? I don't remember Sherbet Dib Dab. I remember Sherbet Dips. Is that similar?
Yeah, it's called Sherbet Dab. And what does dab sound like?
D-A-B?
Well, no. What does it sound like?
Oh, dab, cab.
There you go, Cockney rhyming slang.
Oh, Sherbet Radio is like Sherbet Dab for cab.
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
It's not called London Taxi Radio anymore because they're going international.
Are they?
Yeah, so it's all taxi drivers.
So hi to all our taxi driver friends everywhere, all over the world, tuned into the James Whale Radio Show. Podcasts available from the usual place, of course. Competition in the programme a little bit later on. Music on the programme today by a really interesting bloke called Finlay Morton. Finlay, by the way, used to be the sound engineer at number 10 Downing Street.
Wow, that's an interesting fact.
Well, I thought it was interesting. We'll ask him about it when we talk to him. What else was I going to talk about? I've got a lot on my mind this week. A lot on my mind this week. The Curry Awards, the British Curry Awards, very entertaining. Chris Tarrant and I did a lot of ad-libbing at the British Curry Awards at the end of the evening. and David Cameron got up and said he was going to do all sorts of things for us in the new year, which is very nice. But not one politician. This has got nothing to do with the Curry Awards, by the way. Not one politician has actually answered the question. How are people who haven't got very much money, and particularly the elderly and those on limited pensions, going to keep warm this winter? I'm waiting for an answer. Anybody? Speak. Rob?
I'm just looking at the tumbleweed.
No, well, there we are, you see. Nobody's got any answers to this. And if I see David Cameron again say, look, what we need is more competition. We need more competition to bring the price down. Well, he may well be right. And that's probably a good idea. But whilst we're waiting for more competition, how many more people are going to have to die from cold weather? Surely something could be done. It was bugging me. Because coming back from the Curry Awards the other night, it was flipping freezing. So the big six energy companies who are making massive profits at the moment and keep putting the price up. So people keep asking, and I'd love to know the answer. People keep asking, why can't the government do something? And all we hear is, oh, well, the cost of fuel is very expensive. Well, that's the fault of politicians who didn't put enough infrastructure into this country to make sure that we would, when the oil ran out, be self-sufficient in power. And it's no good saying, well, we've got to get more competition into it so we can bring the prices down. That's not going to happen immediately. So how is poor old Joan, who's 95, lives on her own, on a pension, going to keep warm this year?
Never mind Joan. I've not had the heating on in this studio for weeks now.
Well, Mrs. W, I think you were talking to her earlier on today when she had a little problem with her IT. She doesn't let me put the heating on anymore.
You're not allowed the heating either.
No. So if anybody's got any ideas, Facebook us. That's the best way to get in touch, isn't it?
It is.
Facebook us or tweet me, the James Whale. Follow me on Twitter. I noticed I bumped into James Martin, to name drop. You know, the celebrity chef at the Curry Awards, and he's following me on Twitter now. That's good, isn't it?
That's nice.
Oh, one more thing, one more moan before we do something else. And by the way, hi to all of you listening to us here on Trent Sound. Nice to have you with us. It's the time of year for me to renew my insurance, car insurance. Do you do that?
I just automatically renew.
Yeah, I'm sure you do because you've got lots of money and nobody knows who you are. Now, if you're listening and you work in insurance, then I spit on you.
Really?
And I'll tell you for why. Okay. Now, I don't want to tempt fate, but I'm speaking now for all kinds of people. People in the military, professional sportsmen and women, people in entertainment. My father was a publican, people like him. People in all kinds of jobs who, when it comes to renewing their car insurance, are finding it more and more expensive and more difficult to get a company to insure you. Now, I tell you that I'm touching wood here, right? I haven't claimed on my insurance. In fact, I can't ever remember claiming on it. I can't remember claiming on my insurance in at least the last 20, 30 years. I don't think I've ever claimed on my insurance, all right? I can't get insured now because I am a journalist stroke broadcaster. Even, what are you going to say?
Is it because journalists can easily upset people and maybe get their cars vandalised?
Hang on. This is beginning to really piss me off. I have not claimed on my insurance. Therefore, I cannot possibly be a risk.
Until you upset someone.
No, never mind about that. I am getting sick of it. I was talking to a bloke to do with this the other day, and a professional footballer of some note, whose name I won't mention, went to buy a brand new car, and the garage said, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll offer you 7 days free insurance while you get it sorted out." He couldn't get insurance. He said, "Stuff it, I'm not buying the car." Even with the garage, and we're talking about pretty expensive cars, professional footballer. He couldn't get the insurance to drive it. Had to go through a special company and pay through the nose. Now, what's going on? I mean, I know insurance companies are gamblers; they're professional gamblers. But you have to have a certain amount of risk being a professional gambler. When did the last high-profile person, sports person, celebrity, whatever, cost an insurance company a lot of money?
Their cars are expensive, though.
So?
Well, when they have a prang in their car, it's like 50 times more expensive than the cars that we drive.
My car is over 10 years old. And it's still the same. "Oh, no, we don't want to insure you, Mr. Well, no, we're very sorry, don't want to insure you." And I even had a stand-up argument with this prat. I said, "Just look through. When did I last claim?" Let me look. I said, "Well, I'll save you the trouble." I haven't. So I must have 1,001% no claims bonus. You got 3 points on your license. Oh, well, who hasn't?
I haven't.
No, you never go anywhere.
True.
So I'm just sick of it. So if anybody out there, any insurance companies out there want to be my new best friend, get in touch. Or maybe we could start our own insurance company.
Why are you telling them that you're a journalist stroke broadcaster?
Because if you lie, it would become invalid if you had to make a claim.
But
I mean,
at the moment, you're only working part-time here and there and everywhere, right?
I'm self-employed. That's right. Exactly the same thing.
Go and get yourself a job in B&Q, right? Full-time
I tried
job.
it. You can't do it. It doesn't work. You can't do that.
What, and put down your full-time jobs, I work at B&Q?
Yeah, but you're not called James Whale, are you?
Yeah, but there must be more than one James Whale. There's a guy who made a film called Frankenstein.
No. They know who you are. They look through your history. They know what you do.
Well, it's your fault for being so famous. Actually, can't you tell them that you're not a celebrity? You're almost a celebrity.
I tried that. as well. And I tried putting myself down as a writer. And then I nearly got away with it. And this smug little spotty-faced kid came back and said, "Aren't you the chap on the radio? And didn't I see you on Sky Television?" I said, "Yeah." "Oh, well, we can't insure you. Sorry, sir."
Oh, dear.
I'm fed up with it. I tell you, if anybody else has insurance problems, get in touch. Let's do a whole thing on insurance, all right?
James Well, the voice of reason on the James Well radio show.
Now, before we meet Finlay Morton, Finlay has very kindly recorded a session for us exclusively for the James Well radio show. And we're going to hear a track now from that. It's called Harvest the Wind.
Does the future hold? Nobody knows. We bury our waste in the ground. Oh, one thing I'm certain, from my head to my toes, an alternative has to be found. Together, united we'll stand. Reclaim our dignity throughout the land. So hoist up your solar sails, harvest the wind. Our path to tomorrow is true. If there's gonna be anything left at the end, the first step's dependent on you. Pollution in LA, smog in New York, coast to coast, poisonous fumes. We'll be safe in the mountains, on the national parks, while politics burns in the ruins. Together, united we'll stand. We reclaim our dignity throughout the land. So hoist up your solar sails, harvest the wind. Our path to tomorrow is true. If there's gonna be anything left at the end, the first step's dependent on you. While tidal waves batter our shores, the islands are sinking, the ozone's all gone, in the heavens the acid rain pours. Together, united we'll stand. We'll reclaim our dignity throughout the land. So hoist up your solar sails, harvest the wind. Our path to tomorrow is true. If there's gonna be anything left to defend, the first step's dependent on you. So hoist up your solar sails, harvest the wind. Hoist up your solar sails, harvest the wind.
There, Finlay Morton and Harvest the Wind, and Finlay joins me on the phone at the moment. Finlay, thank you very much indeed. You've recorded a session for us, and we're going to play some more tracks a little later.
Yep.
But I just to point out to all the listeners that you're sitting in your car in a Sainsbury's car park.
I am in Balham in South London.
Fantastic. Well, as long as we get the word Sainsbury's in a few times, Finlay, I'm hoping then they'll just send loads of cash, if not maybe some bacon.
Okay, well, they could load up my car with cash right now if they wanted to.
Now, Finlay, listen, let's go back to when you began. I mean, you've had a pretty varied and checkered musical career, have you not?
Yeah, well, I've kind of been around. I've been around a while. I say with my tongue in my cheek. I've been sort of doing this quite seriously now for about 12 years, I guess. I did my first album in 2002, 2003, which was with quite a famous producer, actually, called Pip Williams, who did all the Moody Blues albums.
He did. So I know Pip Williams. Yeah.
So that was my kind of first introduction to it. So and then I've done a couple of albums since then.
Nights in White Satin, etc., etc.
Etc., etc., yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not being rude, Finlay, but you're quite old to start in the music business, were you not?
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't think you're ever too old. And I do think that people in the music business tend to have this viewpoint that you cease to be able to write a song as soon as you hit 21, and actually it's the other way around. You actually become a better songwriter the longer you're doing it.
Well, listen, I agree, and you've been likened to one of my all-time music heroes, who's J.J. Cale. And, and listening to the tracks, I mean, I think it's music. Lots of people is going to cross the boundaries of musical taste, which I'm sure is what you've seen when you're playing live.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up being influenced by, really all the great American songwriters, J.J. Cale, Tom Petty, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, all those guys. I was a huge Little Feat fan, so and I've always been listening to a fairly wide cross section of things, but that's kind of where my influences come from.
So what did you do before you went into music? I mean, you've been around quite a while. I mean, I noticed you've also survived a heart attack.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What were you doing before you went into music professionally?
Well, I mean, I've spent 20 odd years being the official sound man in Downing Street. So I've been responsible for the sounds coming from 4 prime ministers, I think it is.
How do you get a job like that? I mean, you don't see them advertised.
No, I don't suppose you would. The original, I originally started doing it in the sort of the late 80s, I guess. And I was working for the now defunct Central Office of Information.
Right.
So they used to service, government departments, and I was doing. I landed the job to cover the Prime Minister and for some jobs also the Foreign Secretary.
I bet you've got stories that I would just love to get out of you. Did you have to sign the Official Secrets Act?
Yes, I did, and we were all fairly high security clearance levels. So I certainly couldn't tell you anything that's sensitive.
Not even sort of slight touch of waterboarding or something would.
I couldn't. I wouldn't know anything about anything like that, and B, I couldn't possibly comment.
Shall I move on to something else now, Finlay?
That would be lovely, thank you.
Tell me how you managed to get Steve Hackett. Steve Hackett, of course, legendary guitarist from Genesis. How did you get him playing on one of your tracks?
Yeah, well, that was it was a fluke, really. We had, as you do in the music business, you have people that sort of promote your records to newspapers and radio stations. And the guys that were doing that for me on my record were coincidentally working on Steve's record. And as you do in the music business, you kind of swap CDs with the people that are involved. So I got a nice copy of his new Genesis Revisited 2 album, and he got a copy of my Harvest Wind album. And I've been a Genesis fan for years.
Listen, let's hear that track. The one that he actually played on is called Do You Believe in Ghosts, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Let's have a listen to that.
light in my field of vision, a sense of flicker of light and a smile. I wonder how mentally sound my condition. Could I keep this thing in check for a while? Was it a trick of the light? Did I imagine a temperature drop on the darkest night? Does the underworld come out on top? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think that silhouettes have a soul? You know what scares me most? It's the thought that I may never know. Do you believe in ghosts? Can you feel the spirits in the air, flying in their long-tail coats, laughing at a world that doesn't care? In the dead of night, I awaken. A figure stands at the end of my bed. I admit to being visibly shaken. Can't decide if this is all in my head. Was it a trick of the light? Did I imagine a temperature drop on the darkest night? Does the underworld come out on top? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think that silhouettes have a soul? You know what scares me most? It's the thought that I may never know. Do you believe in ghosts? Can you feel the spirits in the air, flying in their long-tail coats, laughing at a world that doesn't care? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think that silhouettes have a soul? You know what scares me most? It's the thought that I may never know. Do you believe in ghosts? Can you feel the spirits in the air, flying in their long-tail coats, laughing at a world that doesn't care? Do you believe in ghosts? Can you feel the spirits in the air, flying in their long-tail coats? They're laughing at a world that doesn't care.
There we are, Finlay Morton and Steve Hackett playing on Do You Believe in Ghosts? It's from Finlay's new album. It's called Harvest the Wind, and it is an eclectic mix of well, it's your own songs, Finlay, isn't it?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they're all self-written. I always say, I don't do any Rolling Stone songs because they don't do any of mine. So,
well, you never know. In the future, they might. Where can people hear more of you? Where can they see you play?
Okay, well, there's a load of stuff on my website, which is finlaymorton.com. There's mountains of things on YouTube that people can catch up on. I've done 3 tours in America, and I used to do a daily blog from those tours. So there's lots of that on YouTube as well. We'll be announcing dates. I'm doing a UK tour starting at the end of February, and we'll be announcing those dates probably in mid-December. So that we're just sort of setting up all the venues for that now. So and we've been doing some rehearsals, and that's where the session that we did for your program was recorded, sort of during our rehearsals for the tour.
Brilliant. Listen, Finlay, thank you very much indeed. And I think maybe a bit of stand-up comedy about your time at number 10 between tracks would go down a storm. Listen, thank you very much indeed for the session. And for everybody else who wants to find out more about Finlay Morton, listen to more of Finlay's music, go to his website, Finlay Morton, MORTON.com. Finlay, once again, thanks. You can get back to the shopping now.
Thanks very much. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks, Finlay.
You are listening to James and Rob on the James Well Radio Show.
Anyway, you're listening to the James Well Radio Show. Over 500,000 people clicking on to the James Well Radio Show. Tell your friends. And the James Well Radio Show brought to you this week by that fantastic spread Marmite. And the reason it's brought to you by Marmite is because I love Marmite. Some people don't, and some people do. But if you've never tried it, get yourself a jar of Marmite and just go, Marmite. Now, universities have agreed. This is a really good story. We put this out to see what sort of response we got. And we got enormous amount of response, didn't we?
Quite a lot, yes.
Universities have agreed. Now, if anybody is at university and part of the university union, just tell me why. Universities have agreed to segregation. Not so women feel better or anything else, but so Muslim men are not offended sitting next to women. Now, I have no problem with religion as long as your religion doesn't interfere with me. And I was offended some time ago when I introduced Mrs. W to a man who refused, when she put her hand out to shake his hand. Quite a well-known man, this guy, by the way. And then he put his hands up in horror and said, no, I can't touch you. Well, Mrs. W was quite offended by that, and I said, why? And he said, I'm a Muslim, I can't. I said, well, that's all right. But you know, I'm not, and nor is she. And I'm sure that we have this, not an argument, but debate about it. And I can't understand why universities who are pretty open would actually do that. So we put that out to find out what sort of response. We've had loads. Let me share this with you. Mari Buckley, who says, James, I hope this is a joke. Segregation belongs in the dim and distant past, like in the deep south of America, where there were white and non-white. This is a very slippery slope. Gary Martin says, so who makes the rules? So other students have not got to sit next to Muslims if it offends them. Where does it stop? And I'm amazed at this. And if you want to get in touch and let me know, please go to the Facebook and let us know. Rose Palmer says, I don't think it should be allowed. If you don't like the customs of a country, then you should live in a country where your customs are practiced. If I went to live in a Muslim country, would they allow me to carry on practicing my customs? Not if you go to Abu Dhabi, I don't think. It scares me that we are losing our country and all its traditions. I'm all for mixed race society, but everyone should be prepared to adapt to their surroundings, not fight to change them. It's not fair. And you're so right, Rose. Now, I've been involved in the British Curry Awards for nearly 10 years, and that's where I was this last week. Great night, good food, lots of entertainment, very, very funny. I'm not sure whether David Cameron meant to do a stand-up session, but that's a bit what it seemed like. And, of course, there are many people in that hall who are Muslims, lots of people who weren't Muslims. And to me, actually, over food, it was a celebration of how we all get on really well together. I was sitting at a table with owners of an Indian restaurant, people who had certain beliefs. We were all sitting together. Some were drinking alcohol, some weren't. Everybody was accepting each other for what they were and who they are. And I just think it is an amazing evening. And to be quite honest with you, I am surprised that the universities have agreed to do this. I'm surprised there are Muslim men who are so offended going to British universities. I presume they are foreign students who've come over here. I'm looking through all your contacts, and I've not found one who actually agrees with it. Gillian Codin says, "I just want to tear my hair out." Don't do that, Gillian. No, it's painful, Gillian. Don't. I tried it, and look what happened to me. When I read things like this is still a mainly Christian country. No, sorry, it's not. This is a secular country where you are allowed to practice any religion you want, as long as you don't allow your religion to try and take over. If people wish to do daft things like segregating women and men, perhaps they should go and live in another country. I could scream. Ivor Williams says, "Why are we being forced to integrate with immigrants and to accommodate their every whim? Surely you integrate with what is already in place, them with us. The unfairness of it all is enough to make you a racist." Well, don't do that, Ivor. You don't want to be a racist. Nobody should want to. And one last one here. Judith Asian says, "If they don't want to sit next to a woman, or anybody else for that matter, why are they living here? If they don't like how we live, simply go back to where they originate from. With all due respect, when I go abroad, I have to pay for medical care. There are sometimes nowhere to practice our religion. And you get blasted, or a lot worse, for moaning about it. So why do we have to be told what to do in our rightful country? Soon it won't be England." Okay, thank you for that. I actually think, I don't know, as religion really does, of course, as you know, annoy me slightly. Can't all religious people just try and get on with each other? I mean, can't you all just sort of shake hands or whatever you have to do and just go with the flow? Why can't we all go with the flow, for goodness sake? All right. I think it's time to play our phone roulette. What do you think?
Oh, phone roulette. I love phone roulette.
So what I've done is I've given Robbo... you weren't going to sleep then, were you?
I wasn't going to sleep. I was waiting for you to ask me questions.
Okay, I thought,
I sit here every week, waiting for you to talk to me, and you never talk to me. You just rant.
I wasn't ranting. I just thought we put that out. We had a lot of response, and I think it's worth talking about. I think universities agreeing to this sort of segregation should be ashamed of themselves. If anybody from one of the universities wants to talk on the next programme, Facebook us. We'll arrange an interview. You can have your say.
Who can you pick a name then out of your hat?
Okay, let's go for number 5.
Number 5, Bradley Walsh. Okay.
See if Bradley Walsh is at home. Give him a call. Here we go.
Hello?
Bradley, is that you?
It is. Who is that speaking?
It's Mr. Whale.
Ah. James, oh boy, how the devil are you?
Mr. Walsh and Mr. Whale.
We should let him know he's live on air.
Oh, very nice. Let me just turn my music down then. There you go, mate.
Sorry, Brad. Were you having a snooze, Bradley?
No, I wasn't. I was in my office tidying up. There's a first.
Oh, that's all right.
There is a first. You been well?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. I'm good. Busy. Are you coming along Saturday? Are you going to the Make-A-Wish?
I am coming on Saturday. To what we're doing, I'll tell you, everybody listening, there's a big ball in London on Saturday to raise money. It's a great evening, but it's also a very sad evening. Oh, and you've done it every year, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm like one of the patrons. I've got to say, it's one of those evenings, James, where it pulls at the heartstrings, and yet uplifting at the same time.
Yeah, it's an evening where people join together and raise money for children who have, limited life expectancy, isn't it?
Indeed, absolutely it is, yeah.
Mrs. W usually sheds a tear, but it's at the end of the evening, it's very difficult not to.
Yes, but she mainly sheds a tear at your dancing.
All right, Bradley, listen, there's no need to do that. That was really unfair, to be honest.
I've seen you try and trip the Light Fantastic, mate. There's no Light Fantastic. You could just keep tripping.
I mean, I have to say, one of the things that I find really just before we talk about other stuff, but the Make-A-Wish ball, You get Jeffrey Archer comes along and does the auction. Yeah. And he is amazing, absolutely amazing. Whatever your preconceived ideas about Jeffrey Archer are, you need to see him doing this.
He's a bully. He's a bully with a gavel.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, but he does great for us. He has to be, I think, the most fantastic charity auctioneer there is. He's just out of the doyen. I think he's the best.
Well, and quite frankly, you know, when you're doing stand-up or something and somebody makes a noise or wanders around, he just fines them on the spot 50 quid.
I know. I know, you daren't move. You daren't move.
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, but you know, on the evening we get to near on 400k every year, about one evening.
No, I know, that's absolutely amazing. Keeps it going. So what about you? What are you up to at the moment, apart from doing that? When are we going to see Law and Order UK again?
Well, hey, listen, strange you say that. Now, this is actually my day off. I'm not in. They're filming a load of court scenes today, so I'm actually not at the studios today. I've got a day off, and I'm sitting here catching up on paperwork and letters and stuff like that, because we are in the very middle of a new series, making a new series of Law and Order, and so that's okay. That's great. That's good fun. I've got a great new sidekick called Ben Bailey Smith. And Ben Bailey Smith is also a stand-up comic called Doc Brown, and he does a lot of stuff with kids' TV as well. But he's a very, very good actor, and the brother of Zadie Smith, the author.
Really?
Yes, really. You may have even seen him with. He's just going on tour at the moment with Ricky Gervais. You may have seen him with Ricky doing a rap for Comic Relief called Equality Street, and that was fantastic. So he's now my new partner. So,
do you know? I think that Law and Order's been amazing for you, hasn't it? I mean, just let people see a side of you nobody'd ever seen before.
No, well, thanks, James. That's nice of you. I'm very fortunate that I'd acted before, but you know, the roles I had before, like there was few prior to sort of Coronation Street where I was very serious. I played like some evil characters, and but people sort of forget them and they remember you mainly for sort of Jack the Lad characters, or in Corrie and stuff like that. But to do this, which is so under the sort of acting radar, where I mean by level and pitch that you make the character. I mean, he's so sort of dour, recovering alcoholic, and so much, you know, very, very, very down. Not down, but sort of, you know, he is a man of a certain age, and yet so unlike me, personally. You know, so it's great.
Yeah, I don't know whether you have ever been told this before or not, but to me, I think it's almost like the British version of Columbo in a way. If they do a British version of Columbo, you could play the character in exactly the same way, couldn't you?
I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. And strangely enough, when we finish a series, whenever we finish, I go back to doing other stuff that I do. I have to then watch, if we get recommissioned, I have to spend sort of 2 weeks watching old reruns of the show to get back into character. Because once the old raincoat's on, and he's hunched over, and he's got that sort of slick down, spanned haircut, and he's sort of part about. Yeah, it's tough to get back into you have to watch about at least half a dozen episodes of it to get back into character.
Now listen, you're a famous person, and I've just been having a bit of a go about car insurance. Do you drive, Bradley?
I do, yeah, I do.
Do you find it difficult to get insurance to drive?
Well, do you know what? I've got a company. I have a company called Amlin, and they're a big insurance company, and they have a subsidiary called Service Line that insure me to drive, and they have been, all my family actually, and they've been fantastic. They really have, and I've been very, very lucky with them. They're a wonderful company, but I have to say, you're right. Now, if you're a youngster, James, of course,
which I am.
You and I have only just left our teens, so we're
Yeah.
quite fortunate. If you're a youngster, it must be diabolical. I dread to think how much it must cost now. Wow.
What do you say you do on your insurance certificate?
Actor, presenter. Yeah.
You see, maybe I'll have to try that. I haven't claimed on my insurance for years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember it claiming on it. I can't ever remember claiming on it. Must touch wood again.
Yeah.
But and lots of professional football players can't get insurance very easily. Lots of companies won't insure anybody in the media.
Do you know what though, James? I think it's all dependent as well on maybe the style of car that one drives. If you're like a professional footballer, no disrespect, but some of them have these sort of like the Cristiano Ronaldo.
But I haven't. And I don't know what you drive. But you're not still driving the three-wheeler, are you?
No, I don't do any of that at all. So, but I don't know. I mean, what's the average now then? What's the average insurance cost now?
Well, I think I'm still paying around about 800 quid a year insurance.
Yeah, probably. I'm probably about 900, mate. Probably a bit more, something like.
Oh well, that's because you're driving a Rolls Royce. I still think that's expensive. I drive an old banger, really.
Well, hey, mate, listen, I wish I drove a Rolls Royce. And I wouldn't anyway, let me tell you. Even though I work for a wonderful company, I did work for
Nor would I.
a wonderful company, but I wouldn't drive a Rolls Royce. Not to say if someone was to give me a Rolls Royce, I wouldn't say no.
Well, actually, while we're doing this
it
and
must-
seeing this is an online radio station, if anybody wanted to give me, I'd like the Bentley convertible. If anybody is out there listening, that's what I'd like.
Yeah, good for you. What colour do you want?
I'd like that blue, the azure blue one with the cream leather seats.
Oh, crikey. Well, that's it. Don't mess about.
I've thought about it, you see. I have been thinking about it.
Well, good. You might as well have two, one for you and one for the missus.
Well, I'm going to talk to you about this insurance thing on Saturday night then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think listen. I dread to think my son. I mean, my son is just coming up for 16, so in another year he'll be sort of ready to rock, And I think it's brilliant. They've now got to take the theory test and all that. It's much more difficult to pass the test.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing: if you were to take your test again now, how do you reckon you get on?
I'd pass.
Really?
Of course
Come
I'd
on.
pass.
Come on.
I'm a brilliant, brilliant driver.
Oh.
Wouldn't you pass?
Do you know what? I honestly don't know.
I think we should have to take a driving test every couple of years because I am sick of seeing people on the roads who don't even know which way is forward.
Well, do you know what that is? I actually agree with you there. I think we should take tests every sort of 3 or 4 years, maybe. I don't know what the sort of the period would be, but I think we should. I think everyone should.
I don't know whether you've ever slightly exceeded the speed limit.
Yeah.
But I have, and I have been given one of those speed awareness courses.
Yes, me too.
And don't you hate those people who keep asking questions? I went in there with one, and the bloke kept trying to, and it was trying to impress them, and I was just saying, "Shut up! We'll get out of here quicker. Just shut up." The bloke sidled over to me and said, "Don't you have any questions to ask?" I said, "No."
Well, I've got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed mine. I really did. I thought it was very informative. I thought it certainly made me a better driver. That's for sure. And I think they're good. I think they're good if you're sort of paying attention and if you're willing to sort of take part. I think they're good. I really do. And I think
the whole point of me bringing this up is that I think that is exactly what people should have to attend, like a refresher, maybe every 2 years.
Yeah. But you say that, though, James. Imagine the cost to the government if everyone was doing. How many people? Listen, you're good with your facts and figures. Actually, this is your sort of forte. What's the percentage of the adult population that drive? Do you know?
Well, I should think it's about 70% of the adult population, if not more, of this country that drive.
Right.
But listen,
And
they'd all have to
53
pay. What is it? You get
53
one of
million
these,
people in
and they
England
give you
alone,
one of these
right?
courses to go on in lieu of having points on your license, and it costs you about 100 quid.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, would it be an extra source of revenue? I guess, but does it cost then more or less? You'd have to take it as a group lesson, so it becomes cost effective. I think it's a good thing. See, the problem I live in an area where they're very hot on it, you know, road safety and stuff. There's quite a lot of cameras around where I live, and I think that's good. I really do. Because, hey, listen, the thing is, of course, if you're young and you've only just passed your test, is it maybe a good idea to start teaching people to drive on private ground and these private circuits?
Yeah,
when they're like 14,
I think so.
So they respect the machine, because the machine itself is a powerful tool, isn't it?
I think everybody should have to go and learn to drive off-road to begin with. And I think the earlier you learn, the better. I'm not too sure whether or not people should be bombing around the roads at the age of sort of 17.
No.
But maybe you can learn then, and maybe you can't go on the motorway until you're 21 or whatever. But everybody's got this idea that they're entitled to drive a car, yet it is a skill. I think we spoke the other day. I was doing a show talking about how dangerous parents dropping their children off at school are, because they tend not to be thinking about the job in hand, controlling a vehicle. And I think, we have to realise that it is a skill in itself. Listen, I didn't mean to get this serious with you, Bradley. I mean, I thought I'd ring you for a bit of light relief.
Oh, no, I quite enjoy a chat in the afternoon. I've been desperately to try and clear up my office. My wife, bless her, she's always on at me clearing up in my office, because it's the scruffiest room in the house. And here I am. I'm sitting amongst it all. I've got 2 back bin liners. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff. You don't want it, do you?
Yeah, well, if there's some interesting bits in there, I might be able to put it on eBay or take it round to the car boot sale at the weekend.
Yeah, car boot.
Yeah, do a bit of car booting, Bradley. You never know what you can make out of some of this stuff.
I've always been desperate to go round a car boot and find something for 10 bob, 50p, of course, that is, in today's money. To go and find something for 10 bob, and then just, I don't know, sit on the mantelpiece for a couple of years, and someone come around and go, cool, that's nice.
Do you see the other day that a bloke sold his dinosaur skeleton? Went for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds. Just very strange. Look, Bradley, I'm going to let you go. I've got to get on, and I'll see you at the Make-A-Wish ball. Hey,
James, lovely talking to you, mate. Love to the family, and I'll see you Saturday night. I won't be dancing with you because I've seen you in action, as I said. And let's go and raise lots of money. Enjoy the rest of the show. And anytime, mate, anytime about, ring up on the off chance, and I'll be here in the office.
Yeah, I think I will, Bradley, and I'll talk to you soon. Take it
lots
easy.
Of love, mate.
Bye.
Cheers,
bye.
Bye.
Bradley Walsh, and Bradley, of course, you heard it from the man himself there, recording a new series of Law and Order UK.
James Well radio show.
800 quid. Is that your how much you pay for insurance?
Well, something like that. Yes. Why?
Well, I only paid 280.
Oh, do you know, this is winding me up. Maybe people have realised this on the show today. I'm getting really wound up about this. Listen, let's do the competition, last week's competition, which we didn't have it was kind of a clever competition. And you had to share the link of the programme. So you had to go and tell your friends you were listening to the James Whale radio show, and you could share the link. And loads of people did, and we've got to pick out one winner. I was looking through all the people who entered. Leon Britton. Leon Britton used to be a member of the cabinet with Margaret Thatcher. He hasn't won, I'm just saying. I wonder if it's the same Leon Britton.
Who has won?
Marion Schultz has won.
Okay.
So make a note. Marion, well done. You will win a copy of Almost a Celebrity, a couple of CDs from the EP The Outside In, and a limited edition of Ho, 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 Merry Christmas with Bells On. What a fabulous... I sounded a bit like Ken Dodd then, didn't I? What a fabulous prize that you've won. Well done, Marion Schultz. Excellent. And this week's competition, same as last week, share the competition link on Facebook, because then we go up the chart. Facebook.com/James Whale Radio. Good place to get in touch. You will win a copy of my autobiography, limited edition of Ho, 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 Merry Christmas with bells in, and a signed copy of Sarah Jane Morris's album, Cello Songs. Is that Cello Songs?
It is.
So you share the link, and then we will see how many people have shared the link. We will put you all in a hat, and we will pick one of you out. You'll win all that lot for next week on the program. So to share the link, go to facebook.com/James Whale Radio. Hi to everybody at Coast Radio listening to the James Whale Radio Show. Nice to have you with us. And Just Radio as well. And if you run a radio station, you'd like to take this program, just get in touch with us, and this is how to do it. Robbo?
Email jameswhaleradio@gmail.com.
jameswhaleradio@gmail.com. Thank you, Robbo. Very nice of you. Something was worrying me this week, and that was Gibraltar. All the fuss about Gibraltar. And I was sort of, is it time to give Gibraltar back to Spain or not? I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, how would we feel if the French owned the Isle of Wight? I wondered what you thought. I put it out on Facebook earlier this week. Mike Baker says, yes, give it to Spain and the Falklands. Give them back to Argentina. We waste billions pretending we are still an empire. If, in the end, if we leave Europe, as Cameron is obsessed with, we will become a little island with no economic future. Rule Britannia. No. Euro, yes. Please, let's live in the modern world. That's what Mike says. Kevlar Taxi, how are you? Kevlar Taxi, one of our regular listeners. He says, is there oil, gas or minerals there? If not, sod it. Let him have it back.
Wow.
Alan Bell says, transfer to Spain. Anyone who doesn't like it can always join us here on our overcrowded little island. And David Booth says, nope, we once had an empire. Now we don't even have a postal service. Oh, David, cheer up, mate. Ellis Smith says, if we give the Isle of Man to Ireland, let the Scottish go independent, we would have more of a manageable area to look after. Let's face it, we don't need tactical outposts anymore, as our missiles can travel thousands of miles.
Nice.
John, going through these, I haven't found one person who thinks we should hang on to Gibraltar. Hold on. My granddad was stationed there, Gibraltar, during the war to liberate Europe. It's British. End of. Ask yourself, what would Nelson do? Nicholas Hyden. Hello, Nicholas. It's always nice, Nicholas, isn't it? Living in the past. That's the problem. You've got to live in the future. You have. And Kate Graydon says, I hear Scotland is going cheap. Gibraltarians do not have any allegiance to Spain, never mind the politics. They couldn't survive as an independent and certainly don't deserve to be displaced after several hundred years of heritage. Okay. I suppose it's where you are geographically in the world, isn't it, really? And I'd say again, if the French owned the Isle of Wight, or were sovereign on the Isle of Wight, we'll be wanting to get it back. I throw it out there. Get in touch. Facebook me. Let me know. Right. Oh, something else I was going to talk about Scotland and whether... But never mind the Scots having this wonderful debate and deciding whether or not they want to retain being part of the United Kingdom. Why aren't we being asked if we want Scotland to stay in the United Kingdom? Maybe we should do it that way round. All my friends listening to the James Whale Radio Show in Scotland, your thoughts? Thank you. Thank you very much. Good. Okay. Yeah, send them over. Hey, Robbo.
Yeah.
Did you see the book show?
I did see the book show on Showcase 2.
Showcase TV?
Yeah.
It's a little television show on new books. Go and have a look. It must still be around, mustn't it?
I don't know if it's still around. Isn't it just every week is a different one?
Well, I think it's going to be every month, but You could still go and check it out.
Will you
the
plug
book
it,
show.
You plug in your book again, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book show. You can download my book.
I'm going to do that, you know.
I think you should download it, and we could play bits on it. We could serialize it, couldn't we? Would I have to pay myself lots of money to serialize the book?
No, because it's me that always pays for everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the brilliance of being a producer. That's what it means. Being a producer means you pay for it. Anyway, Marmite's paying for the whole show today.
That's true.
Yeah. If you want to sponsor next week's show... Oh, I tell you what I did. Wayne, who drove me to the Curry Awards, I said I'd give him a plug for his cars. I do a little commercial for Wayne. I said, you could sponsor the show. And so Wayne's cars, right, for that little bit of extra service. I said, Wayne, what extras do you offer when you book one of your cars?
That's what I want to know.
But he said, listen, I can wear the hat or I can wear the gloves. I said, well, I think you should wear clothes, to be honest. So he has little extras on it.
Does it just have to be Wayne, or can anyone else be the driver?
Well, no, it's Wayne's company, so Wayne does the driving.
Oh.
Yeah, very good he was too. Took me to the door, opened the door for Mrs. W. We dived out, went into the Curry Awards, and then they said, you haven't got a VIP pass.
No.
Oh, yeah. I said, well, what's that mean? Well, you need to be round the other door because you're a VIP. I said, am I? I've never been called a VIP before. I was trying to work out in my mind very quickly what VIP stood for. I said, but anyway, I'm quite happy here. They wanted me to go out into the cold, walk round somewhere and come in through another door.
Is this another pleb gate?
Yeah, I know. Oh, I tell you, that is a great story. Isn't that a great story? I mean, how on earth can the CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, how can they found out, say there's no evidence when Andrew Mitchell, it's going to be amazing. That's going to go on for months. I feel sorry for the coppers who are good policemen, the really good coppers, a few who thought they could mix it up a bit, politically speaking, are really giving the police a bad name. I think that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I can't understand why they haven't all been sacked, the ones who were involved.
What did you get to eat in the Curry Awards? Did you get a curry?
Yeah, got a curry. What? But because I had to keep rushing around doing bits and pieces while I was there, when I got back, the curry was cold.
Right.
But I'm one of those people who quite likes cold curry because the flavours come through. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, normally if you leave a curry overnight and then reheat it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I think it's almost time to go, which is a bit of a shame. But if you are missing your James Whale fix, then I am on other radio stations around. And, of course, you could go back to our website. You can podcast all the other shows we've done.
You can indeed, or get it from iTunes and subscribe there, or subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Go to iTunes, subscribe. It's free at the moment, isn't it?
It is free.
Yeah, and I'm still looking for reggae bands to play their music on the show. So if you're a reggae band, can you get in touch? And if you would like to be played on the program, this is what you do. Robbo.
You email jameswellradio@gmail.com.
You got a bit excited there, didn't you?
I was going to do a really big fanfare. Yeah, I'm going to edit that out.
No, you're not. You leave that in. Stop editing stuff on a live show. It doesn't work.
Yes, it doesn't work when you edit stuff on a live show.
No. So you can't, can it?
No.
Right, we're a bit over anyway, aren't we, I think? Probably.
Yeah, I'll have to do a bit of editing.
No, you can't. We're a bit over. I've got to apologise to all the radio stations who take it. To end with, listen, have a great week. Tell your friends about the James Whale Radio Show. You can podcast it, you can download it, you can do it on iTunes. Just go and download us, listen to us on talentgb.com. Audio Boost. Get us off your favourite online radio station. Go to my website. That's a good way of getting it, isn't it?
jameswhaleradio.co.uk.
Yeah, jameswhaleradio.co.uk. The James Whale Radio Show, brought to you in association with Marmite, my favourite spread. To finish the show today, a little music, a track called Free by a new artist, Eja. Abigail Smith. Is Abigail Smith Eja?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think you're supposed to say Abigail Smith. You're just supposed to say Eja. Now you're giving the game away.
Ah. Well, is Abigail Smith wanting to pretend she is Eja?
Yes.
Is this like E-jar? Is this reggae or not?
It's not reggae, no.
All right, because E-jar could have been reggae.
It's not reggae.
All right. Listen, guys, have a good week. Let me know. Facebook me, email me, get in touch. Let me know what you want us to talk about as well. And we'll see who we can get on as a guest maybe on next week's program. Any suggestions, just let me know. Okay, here's Free from E-jar.
I've been looking on the wrong side of the mirror, trying to see things a little clearer, trying to make the grass go greener. Oh, I think I'm not an angel, no, I'm not as sane. However, my heart on my sleeve, now I can't breathe. Let me go, release my soul, and I can come back down to earth with you. So let me go, release my soul, and I can come back down to earth with you. I've been searching, I've been down every single road, my words falling off these walls. I can hear my inner child calls. Oh, I think I'm not an angel, no, I'm not as sane. I wear my heart on my sleeve, now I can't breathe. Let me go, release my soul, and I can come back down to earth with you. So let me go, release my soul, so I can come back down to earth with you. Your fire, feel my desire, feel the heat running beneath your feet. Paint my own hair, challenge the rest, take me to hell, the apocalypse let me go, release my soul, and I can come back down to earth with you. Let me go, release my soul, and I can come back down to earth with you. Let me go, release my soul, and I can come back down to earth with you. Let me go, release my soul, I can come back down to earth with you.
So that was Free by Eja. If you want to get your music on the show, email jameswellradio@gmail.com. See you next week.
James Well, the voice of reason on the James Well Radio Show.
You're listening to the James Well Radio Show. For more information, visit www.jameswellradio.co.uk. Why not check us out on Facebook.com/Jameswell Radio Show, or follow James on Twitter @the James Whale. James Whale, the voice of reason.